Hello, fifth graders. This is mini lesson part 2 for chapters 15, 16, and 17. So if you are watching this video, you've already watched part 1 and listened to 15, 16, and 17. So we talked a lot about point of view and perspective and how the author's point of view, who the author chooses to write the point of view from, really impacts the story. So what I asked you to do while you were reading was to give me a few jots about what you're wondering about from different point of views, and how you think the story and certain chapters could have changed if they were told from a different character's point of view. So I reread chapter 14 just because I thought there was a really great moment to see from a different character's point of view. And I wrote a jot from each chapter that I would like to share with you. So in chapter 14, that's when Penn got the mustard in his shoes. And I felt bad for Penn after the mustard situation. And I think that if this chapter were told from Penn's point of view, we would have felt even worse for him because we would have learned his emotions as opposed to Crash's emotions, which were amusement. So Crash thought it was hilarious. He thought what he did was the funniest thing in the world. And we saw, Penn kind of walked away quietly, but we didn't really know what was going through his head. He didn't have his shoes on. He was walking in his mustard-covered socks. I felt bad for him, but if this story were told from, or that chapter was told from Penn's point of view, and maybe we were able to empathize with Penn, and Penn shared that he was embarrassed or sad, I would have felt even worse. But I would have liked to have heard that chapter from Penn's point of view because I didn't know what was going through his head. I only knew what Crash was feeling, which was he was feeling amusement and like he was the funniest kid in the world. And then for chapter 15, my jot was, when Penn was cleaning his sneakers at the end of the chapter, I was left with a lot of questions. I was wondering, does Penn know who did it? What is Penn feeling? And if, again, this chapter were from Penn's point of view, I think a lot of those questions would have been answered. So my takeaway from 14 and 15 was, I really wanted to hear what was going on from Penn. So chapter 16, I had a little bit of a different take on point of view and perspective. I would have loved to have heard chapter 16 from Abby's point of view. Abby is Crash's sister. I was wondering what Abby was thinking when she saw the mouse. So she didn't seem very scared the way that Crash seemed scared. But I was wondering, did she want to help it and care for it? Was she amazed by the mouse? Did she feel maybe love for the mouse? And I think she might have felt a lot of compassion for the mouse because she mentioned becoming a vegetarian. I also wonder what was going through her head when she saw her big, tough brother scared of this mouse. So I would have been very entertained, and a lot of my questions would have been answered about Abby if I could have heard this scene from her as opposed to from Crash. And then chapter 17, this was more of a jot kind of about the whole book so far in point of view and perspective. I was wondering why the author chose to write this story from Crash's point of view and not from Penn's. I'm thinking that the author may have chose Crash's point of view because Crash is going to grow as a character and maybe learn a lesson, and the author wants us to see the evolution of character for him. But I think that this story would change a lot if the author told each chapter from a different point of view. All morning, I've been trying to figure out what book is it that we've read where the author changes point of view for each chapter, and I can't think of it. But I know there is a book that both classes have read this year where each chapter, the author changes the point of view. And I think for this particular book, I would really enjoy that. I would really enjoy if the author would do that. And that's just something that's going through my head about point of view and perspective. Finally, I have a final thought about this chapter, and it's not so much related to point of view or perspective. But the end of chapter 17, the author, I'm actually going to play the last clip of chapter 17 for you guys because I want you to hear this again. I want you to listen to this last part again from minute 4 to 4:40.
One of the paintings is me. You'd never know it because I was less than a year old when she did it. I'm lying on my stomach with a diaper on, looking up with this toothless grin, probably already thinking what I'm going to do when I get my first football helmet. It's a stupid picture, actually. Something like that should be kept private. Everybody who sees it laughs. I usually don't even look at it. This time I did. On the glass that covered it, some mysterious unknown person had crayoned a mustache right above my toothless grin. I put spit on my finger and rubbed it off.
Okay, so right there at the end of chapter 17, what was going through my head was, I think the author was referring to the front cover. I think that visual with the mustache and the baby, I think that was the front cover. Now, do I know for sure? No, but I'm taking what I know about this book and I'm taking clues to kind of draw an inference that I think that that scene was about the front cover. And I wonder what significance that had. We don't really know yet. For now, our mini lesson is over, and I hope you enjoyed learning about perspective and point of view and understanding how it really impacts the story. After this video, make sure you complete your check-in below. Alrighty, have a good one.